stream tonight. So we'll give it a few more minutes, and then we'll be getting right into it. Again, thank you for getting on the stream tonight. In a minute, folks. Trying to get some more people time to chime in. If you're on the stream and I can't see you in the chat box, put a number 1 in the chat box to let me know that you're there. For some reason, sometimes I can't see you. Whoever's in the stream right now, put a number 1 in the chat box and we'll get started. We're not going to wait any longer. Put a 1 in the chat box. Good evening, folks. Thank you for getting on the line tonight. I wanted to open up the chat room to do what we did the other night, which gave everybody an opportunity to ask any questions that they may have had based on any of the talking points that I had tonight in the stream. It doesn't look like we have a whole lot of participation. I would imagine that everybody's busy or whatever you're doing, and that's why. if I don't get more participation, this stream will be very short tonight, extremely short. So, if you can hear me, good, put a number 1 in the chat room. Put a number 1 if you can hear my voice clearly. Please do that now so we can get started. Thank you, moderator. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. All right, let's get into it. You see tonight's topic. Take back your superpower, ladies. What is your superpower? It's your femininity. What? My femininity? Yeah, it's your femininity. Why is that important? Because today, far too often, what we find in terms of personality, characteristics of most women, you find a masculine trait. That masculine trait is characterized in many different ways. It's characterized by what level of education that you've had. It's characterized by, in many cases, a lot of cases, the kind of home you live in, the kind of car you drive, the neighborhood you live in. Is characterized a lot of times by things. So what happens in conversation between male and female? What a lot of ladies do is they tend to lead with their conversation. Their conversation is led by expressing to the man in front of them what they've acquired. Oh, I have a PhD in psychology, or I just recently purchased my new grade up model Mercedes-Benz, or I just passed my bar exam, or I just got my bachelor's in accounting. Now, am I saying that those achievements are not commendable? Not at all. They're very commendable. But when you lead with what you've accomplished or with what you've purchased, you sound like a man. Because when a man is in front of you talking to you, he's not looking to hear what you've accomplished. He's certainly not looking to hear what you've purchased. He's not looking to hear that. He's looking to find what he's having a hard time finding, at least today, with the modern woman. The hard thing to find today is just that, femininity. A woman, as described by definition, is feminine by definition. When he can't find that in you, he's basically talking to himself. If he finds himself sitting in front of you and you're a woman, but yet it seems and it feels, he gets the feeling like he's talking to another man, it changes the dynamics of that conversation. It also changes the dynamics of any future relationship where he's concerned. He's turned off instantly. Instantly. And that's when you usually find the term ghosting, where he won't call you anymore. The number he gave you, you'll find that the number was changed. I'm always baffled today at how society has programmed you ladies to think that a man is actually interested in what you've accomplished, or he's interested in what degrees you hold, or he's interested in the job you have. or the hourly wage that you may make if you work a regular job, which 72% of all women in this country, 72%, either work full-time or part-time. So most ladies who claim they have a career, they really don't. They have a job. 72%, as I said, work full-time or part-time. So, and the highest employers in this country for women is the federal government and retail. A lot of ladies will describe that as careers. It's really not a career, it's a job. A career is a doctor. A career is a physician. A career is a nurse. A career is a psychologist. A career is, those are careers. If you work within the infrastructure of government, regardless of your title, it's a job. It's not a career. So a lot of times, ladies get confused. And I think men do too, but tonight we're talking to you. Ladies tend to get confused about the difference between what describes a career and what describes a job. They really don't know the difference. So when you lead your conversation like that with a man, you've already turned them off. You've already turned them off. Many of you ladies have already turned the person you're talking to off within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the conversation. You just don't know it. Excuse me. You don't even realize it. He's already not interested. Just the way you led the conversation, he's not interested. Now, to take anything, to take something, requires action. And the title is Take Back Your Superpower. Femininity. Take it back. That's the only thing, ladies, that's going to get you the outcomes that you say you want. That's if you want the outcomes. That's if you want the outcomes. And what are the outcomes that I'm referring to? That's for those of you that want to be married. That's for those of you that want a real meaningful relationship with a man. I'm talking to you. If that's not what you want, then I'm probably not talking to you. But whatever you want, it's going to still require something of you. Regardless of what it is that you want, it's going to require something. So if today in the modern society we find most women, our women, black women in particular, so masculine, so demanding, so opinionated, so loud, God, so loud, and so unappealing in terms of how they come across when you meet them. Overbearing, over-talking. Their vocabulary is almost below elementary school level. And I'm not talking about all women. For some of you that might be getting triggered right now, just relax. I'm talking about the ones that you know I'm talking about because you have friends like that. Every other word is profanity. Every other word is a negative, stereotypical term. When you find yourself around that kind of company, you're looking at, on the low level, a characteristic that's described as masculine. Women don't talk like that. Not feminine women. They don't talk that way. Now I want you to ask yourself a question and be honest. If you're looking to form a meaningful relationship with any man, think in your own head. What do you think would be attractive to him? Would it be the use of a large number of words that's profanity? Would it be you talking about your accomplishments? Talking about your car? Would it be this kind of conversation? Do you think that is what would get his attention? Is that what he would say, wow, oh my God, I really want to be with her? Is that what he would say? Or at the end of the conversation, is he saying, that your elevator does not go all the way to the top. Or maybe that your six-pack is short of one can. Or would he be saying something like, you don't care about nobody but yourself? Many of you ladies find yourself in the situations you find yourselves in because you've never been told to ask men what they want. And more than likely, you've learned this kind of behavior by growing up in a home with a single mother. 80% of all childbirths are brought into existence in this country, in the black community in particular, with a single parent. So if you're a young lady, I could talk about young men, but tonight I'm talking to you ladies. If you're a young lady and you grew up in a home like that, where your mom was single, maybe married previously, but for the most part, you grew up in a home with your mom and she was single. She had to take care of all the bills herself. She did what men do. She was going out, killing the wolf, wrestling the bear, and bringing the meat home. As a result, she developed masculine personalities, very aggressive personalities, personalities that go against her ability to pair bond with a man of the opposite sex. It limits her ability to communicate in a feminine way, in a way that men are built and wired by nature to be attracted to, which is femininity, not masculinity. They're wired. We are wired to be attracted to femininity and not masculinity. That's why many of you in your relationships, you overtalk your men. You hear his voice. You hear him talking. But you find yourself still talking while he's talking to you. That's masculine. Or you find yourself loud, very loud, in public. And I know many of you have walked in public, in the towns that you live in, the various towns that you live in, wherever city or town that you live in right now. You've seen ladies walking down the street on the cell phone, right? They're having a plain conversation on the phone, but they're yelling and they're screaming on the phone. And everybody can hear them from across the street, down the street. Everybody can hear their conversation. Why are you doing that? What does that mean? The need to be heard. You know, that's masculine. That's loud. It's not attractive. So with you wanting to get the outcomes that you say you want as it relates to relationships, and that's all I care about on my channel. I don't know what anybody else does on their channel. More people are attracted to stupidity and buffoonery than anything else. This channel is not focused at that. I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about meaningful relationships, especially when, like I said in previous streams, 1 in 4 of you, black women, will marry in a lifetime, which means 3 of you will die alone by yourselves. And then the only alternative is to move in together as a group of other women, share the expenses of that place that you live in, be it an apartment or house, and post up on the couch and eat popcorn and watch Netflix and chill. But outside of the group, you cannot survive. Having a man in your life is not a choice that can just be made by happenstance. There has to be a sense of urgency as it relates to that decision. Or otherwise, you will die alone. You need to be with a man to survive. I know some of y'all saying, I don't need no man to survive. Okay, good luck with that. But outside of that, you need a group. You need a group. and that was my second example. You wouldn't have to deal with these issues, ladies, if you could take back your superpower. Your superpower is your femininity. That's your ability to literally be nurturing, pleasant, easy to get along with, comforting, a pleasant experience for a man. This is part of the traits that describe femininity. This is something that's lost in our community in particular, but it's lost all around the world in so many ways, because the narrative has been to teach you ladies to be strong, never describing to you what strong meant in its truest sense, but telling you that being strong was simply to get a good job and get a good education and build up your bank account. Or today the term is get the bag. The only one that's in the bag, and the bag is tied tightly, is you. Because in the black community, ladies, you're losing. And you're losing badly. I mean, you're losing so bad. So bad. There's more black women in this country that are by themselves, alone with children, fathered by someone else, and the father is gone. And they're upset, they're disappointed, they're hurt. In a lot of cases, they feel betrayed. I get it. I get it. Here's the thing. What if you traded off? You've heard me always say choices and trade-offs. For everything good that you need to get the outcomes that you say you want, if you decide to trade it off, or to make a choice to act as if it's not important anymore, there is a consequence for that. There is a consequence. What if you trade it off? What if you trade it off for your masculinity and sacrificed your femininity? A lot of the choices that you ladies make going forward, it's not based on what you would have done under ideal conditions. They've been done under conditions that you did not ask for, but nonetheless, those conditions brought about a consequence. A life that you find yourself in that you don't like. With that consequence comes decisions that you've made. Those decisions that you've made have put you in a place in your current life, wherever you are right now, where you did not plan, where you did not expect, and because you don't think you can get any better than where you may currently be, regardless of where that place is, you've decided, I'm just going to settle where I am. It's not what you planned, again, it's not what you desired. Many of you that have children and you did not end up staying with the father, if you were honest with yourself, that's what you wanted. You wanted him to want that. If you're honest with yourself, you wanted him to want that. What do I mean by that? You wanted him to want the family structure. That's what you wanted. You wanted it with the first father. That didn't work. You wanted it with the second father. That didn't work. Some of you, you wanted it with the third father. That didn't work. I could keep going because it's an epidemic. It's literally a pandemic in our community of single mothers that are doing it by themselves based on bad choices. Based on bad choices. Those bad choices have brought about them believing they had to do it all by themselves. And by them doing it all by themselves, they developed the characteristics that are basically for a man. Now when they get into a new relationship, they can't pair bond. They don't even know how to be a woman, how to be feminine, how to be friendly, how to be non-combative, They don't even know how to do it. And the most feminine they are, usually at that point in their life, is in the bedroom. That's the most feminine they are, and it's in the bedroom. And that's sad, but that is the reality of things. Ladies, take back your femininity. That's your superpower. That's your superpower that will allow you to get the outcomes that you say you want. Unless you are like so many that have just decided to give up. I'm just going to give up on men. I'm just going to give up on relationships. Why? Because you don't want to do the work. That's why. That's what makes many of you ladies give up, because you don't want to do the work. You don't want to do the work. You want men to do the work to become a better version of themselves. But you don't want to do the work to become a better version of yourself. Is that fair? Does that make any sense? No, not at all. If you want your left hand washed, it comes with the assistance of your right hand. That's a couple. We're better together than we are apart. If you don't believe me, try washing your left hand without your right hand. I'll wait. I know you can't do it. And likewise, you can't live alone by yourself. And if you keep listening to the media, and I've said it so many times in my streams, if you keep listening to the media, if you keep listening to the television and these series that come on TV, where the narrative that's painted, the story that's being told, is that you don't need no man. You could do it all by yourself. Just go to school, get a great education, and girl, you go after that bag. I mean, after all, y'all made songs. Ain't nothing going on but the rent, right? I don't want no scrubs. You know, the dude sitting on the passenger side of his best friend ride, trying to holler at you. I get it. Waiting to exhale, the color purple. All of these things made black men look horrible. I get it. But that's what the whole point of the matter was. It was designed to get you to turn against your own man. That's what it was designed to do. It was designed to get you to turn this way against your own man. That was right in front of you. Your man has never been perfect. Lady, your men have never been perfect. Never. Even your fantasy description in your mind of what a perfect man is, up close examination will find that he's not perfect either. There is no such thing as perfection unless you're talking about God. Your men are not perfect. And guess what? I know that if that is true, and it is, I know that you're not perfect either. I said in a previous stream, we got to get to a place where we can give each other the grace to be imperfect. But we both have to know what's required of us to get the outcomes that we say we want. And for ladies, for you, if you want the outcomes you say you want, today you are losing, which makes you powerless. Take back your power. I know your grandmother didn't teach you what your power was. And I know your mama didn't teach you what your power was. Your auntie didn't teach you what your power was. Your single, busted girlfriends didn't teach you what your power was. Your co-workers didn't teach you what your power was. That's why today you're powerless. That's why you've been so unsuccessful in relationships. Many of you ladies, you're pregnant longer than you're with the man that made you pregnant. Take back your power. What is your power? Your femininity. That's your power. That's your power. Take some introspect about yourself. The men you desire, ladies, they're visual. I've said it so many times. The men you desire are visual. What gets our attention where you're concerned? It either attracts us, distracts us, or completely turns us away. What do you look like when a man sees you? What do you sound like when you open your mouth? What is your conversation about when you talk? How do you carry yourself? Are you fit? And if you're not, do you care about getting fit? Or have you given up on that also? Are you feminine? That's what men want. And that's what this talking point is tonight about. Your superpower. Are you friendly? Are you easy? I said easy to get along with. Are you non-combative? Are you non-confrontational? And the end question is, are you easy to get along with? Are you a good experience for a man? Are you? If you're not, you're probably not a good experience for anyone. Because how you do anything, in most cases, is how you do everything. So who are you? Do you want your superpower back? Or have we gotten so modern today in 2022? Have you been so corrupted now by the talking points and the narrative that's been painted for you? Have you been so turned away, so spoiled, so destroyed psychologically and emotionally that now the whole idea of having a meaningful relationship with a man is completely off the books? You've completely just given up the whole idea of even having a meaningful relationship. What does that mean? What does that mean? What's your end game? If you don't take back your power, and you don't get back your femininity, and you don't get back the characteristics that describe you as a woman, so that when someone sees you, they're not confused at what they see, then what is the end game, ladies? What's the end game? How do you intend to get to the end of life? What's your plan? What's your plan to get to the end of life? I know you're young, some of you. You're in your 20s, I know. You think you got time. You think it's not necessary to have this conversation about femininity or anything like that, I know. You really think you got time, I know. That's the delusion. Some of you that's in your 30s, I know you think you got time too. Some of you in your 40s, I know you think you got time too. Let me tell you something, ladies. There's a thing called the wall. The wall is at 35. Across the world, every GBYN, every gynecologist will tell you that 35 marks what's called geriatric pregnancy. That's when any woman in the world, if you desire to have a child, and you're going to see why this is important that I'm saying this. It all ties into the subject tonight. Any woman who desires to have a child at 35, you put yourself physically at risk. It's already a 50-50 anyway, even before 35, that you could lose your life just in childbirth. But at 35, it really puts you at risk. So if you don't have your superpower back, and you're listening to your single aunt and your single mother, your single grandmother, your single friends, your single co-workers, and you found yourself making bad decisions over and over and over, and it's gotten you to a place today where you look in a mirror, like I always say, and you think you're looking at a regular mirror. You think it's just any old mirror, just like any other mirror you've ever looked into. Only for you, the mirror you're looking into is a reflection of all your broken pieces. The mirror looks like it's a real mirror, but it's actually shattered. It's shattered with every bad decision that you've made. It's shattered with every single bad decision that you've ever made. As it relates to men, as it relates to relationships, and as it relates to your womb. What's your end game? It can't be everybody's fault. At some point, ladies, the thing that I've always said in every stream, accountability is like acid reflux. Accountability is like kryptonite. And you know what kryptonite did to Superman. Every time he got close to kryptonite, if he stood there too long, it made him weak. Your bad choices have made you weak. Your bad decisions have made you weak. And the sad thing about those bad choices is that you expect someone to understand it. But let me say something to you. Although from a personal standpoint, where I understand the things that the decisions that we make and the choices we make, I do understand it from that standpoint. But here's where it goes off the rails. The world does not owe myself or you any understanding for any bad decisions that we make. Again, I said life comes with choices and trade-offs. What have you traded off? Have you traded off your femininity? Have you traded off the whole idea or the concept of even having a meaningful relationship with a man? Is that what you've chose to do? Is that your decision? Is that your solution? Is that your solution? If that's your solution, I don't think there's a human being on the planet that will fight you over your solution. I believe in the right of choice. I do. What my mission and goal is to do with every stream and talking point is to help to level set us and level set you with the reality of what our decisions bring to us, no matter who we are, whether it's myself or anyone else. It's about level setting. It's about getting realistic. It's about understanding where we've given up our power. At whatever stage in our life that we've given it up. But for you ladies who desire to be in relationship, there is a superpower that so many of our women in particular, all over the country and even outside of the country, they've just thrown it away like it doesn't even matter. And that's your femininity. That's why you're having a lot of sex, but you're not having a lot of relationships. Even if you find yourself in a position where you're engaged, many of you ladies, you blow it. You blow it during the engagement. I've talked and I've heard too many sisters, too many ladies say, I was once engaged, or I was engaged twice, as if that's a badge of honor. That's not a badge of honor. You mean somebody wanted to marry you and you didn't get married? Why? I'm glad you asked. You mean you were married before and it didn't work? You want to know why? I'm glad you asked. Because the stats, data, and statistics don't lie. You might lie to your friends. You may lie to your family members. You may lie to those that are willing to listen to what you have to say, because they're listening to it from a one-sided conversation. But let me tell you what the stats, data, and statistics say that debunks all of it. 80 to 85% of all marriages are dissolved by way of divorce filed by black women. I'm going to say this on every stream. In addition to that, 80 to 85% of all engagements, you know, when he dropped down on one knee in a public place and asked for your hand in marriage and placed a ring on your finger. I'm talking about that event. 80 to 85% of you ladies call off the engagement. Let's continue. Let's continue. If 80 to 85% of you are calling off or dissolving your marriages by way of filing for divorce, And 80 to 85% of black women are also calling off all engagements when they're engaged to be married. And then 80% of all children born in the black community are headed by a woman. Listen to me. And of that 80%, only 20% of black men in this country father that 80%. I know you didn't know that. And I'm going to tell you why I know you didn't know that. Because 51% of black men in this country are single and childless. Follow me. If 51% of black men in this country are childless and 64% are in the middle class, when you say you can't find a good man, that's not the truth. What does it boil down to? It doesn't boil down that men are the problem. It boils down to the fact that you don't know how to choose. That's what it boils down to. Because if 51% of the black population of men are single and childless, and 64% are in the middle class, that tells you there's a large number of available black men. Your outcomes have been a result of your poor choices. And as a result, you didn't realize there were any more options when there's so much more left. So much more left. You can't give up on the few bad decisions that you've made and then become angry and bitter and masculine and give up your superpower, which is your femininity. How you expect to get good results from that? Something's good supposed to come from that? Many of you ladies been listening to the wrong people. You really have. You've been listening to the wrong people. And you've been around the wrong people. And as a result, you've settled for whatever situation you find yourself in. But from the beginning, it's not what you wanted. It's not what you wanted. It's what you found yourself settling with today. But it's not what you wanted. And many of you have children. It's not what you wanted. It's not too late. Get back your superpower. Your superpower is your femininity, ladies. That's all we want, is your femininity. And we want your cooperation. And we want your fitness. We want you to be friendly. We want you to be non-combative. We want you to be easy to get along with. That's what we want. And with that comes a return. The return for that is a life where you and whoever you're with can get to the end of life. Because we all get, trust me. I mean, this is one guarantee about being alive, that you will not be cheated on. No one gets cheated with what I'm going to say next. You really do get what's coming to you. All of us get to the end of life. All of us. I don't care how healthy you feel today. I don't care how strong you feel today. I don't care how cute you think you are today. I don't care how strong, brothers, you think you are today, or how fine you think you are too. That stuff goes away like leaves on a green tree in the summer, and then the fall comes and you see those leaves falling off the tree. You see that green grass turning brown. The same way the earth looks like it dies in the winter. That's called the end of life for those for that tree. That's the end of life for that grass. Well, we all get to the end of life too. What's your end goal if you gave up your superpower, ladies? What's your end goal? What's your plan? Take back your superpower. Get back your femininity. Get it back. It's the most attractive thing. The most unattractive thing to a man is a woman who acts like him. Very unattractive. So unattractive. Take back your superpower, ladies. I'm going to open up the chat box for anyone that has any questions, comments, disagreements about anything that was said tonight in the stream. This is something I wanted to start doing with every stream that I do, because I want to give you the opportunity to ask me questions. Shout out to Gwendolyn Green. Glad to have you on the stream tonight, sister. And any questions that you have, I want you to feel free to drop those into the chat box. Any question you have, I'm going to do my very best to see if I can answer your questions. And we're going to do that right now in just a few seconds. Get your questions together that you want to ask. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. And we're going to get started. That you have that you want to ask me, anything you disagree with or you don't quite understand, I'm going to do my best to answer your questions. No questions, we'll be ending it very, very soon. Again, if you have questions, just type it into the chat box. I see a question that you have there. If there is no therapy, let me turn this down just a little bit. I see a question that you have there. If there is no therapy, then what? Well, I don't believe that's true. There's always therapy. The question is, if there is no therapy you're willing to go to. I think that's probably the better question. You know, there's always therapy. Therapy is available for who wants it. So, and therapy in and of itself in the black community has been stigmatized so badly. I remember when I used to think that way. I remember when I used to think that way. I used to think that therapy, if a person needed therapy, that means they was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know, I didn't see it as a necessary avenue to take if a person just simply needed to get an opinion from an objective standpoint. But I understand the value of it now, because all of us need it. All of us need it. Even if you feel you don't, including myself, all of us, we need if we've never done it before, I think we need to do it at least once for some significant amount of time, because we all got issues, and some of those issues we're not even aware that we have. So if there's no therapy, then what? Well, again, therapy is always available. The question is whether you're willing to take the therapy that is available. Thank you for that question. That was a great question. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? This is something that I'm doing now, opening it up for questions at the end. And if you have questions, do that. So I'm trying to find them. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. Thank you, Margaret, for your question. That was a great question. That was a good question. I saw something else. Let me see. That was a good comment, Margaret. You said most of us ladies want to wear the pants and the dress. Or do you want the man to wear the dress and do whatever you say and bring home the money? That's good. That's a mentality today in this modern day and time, for sure. Yep. Sadly enough, the outcomes prove it. We see it everywhere. The outcomes prove it. A lot of sex, no relationships though. That's the problem. That is the problem. Well, it doesn't look like I see any more questions. So, with that being said, again, I thank you all for getting on the stream tonight. And I appreciate you, as always. I look forward to seeing you. Tomorrow. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. At 9 p.m. sharp. And tomorrow night's message will conclude the week where I speak to ladies. Next week is Men's Week. All of you are welcome to come on the stream whenever I do Men's Week, but you're not permitted to comment. I will do what I'm doing tonight, where I allow you to get on and ask questions or pose your disagreements that you may have with what I said. I'm going to allow the same thing for men's group, for the Men's Week next week, but I won't allow questions to come from you ladies during Men's Week. But you are permitted to get in. I would like you to be on the stream. You can listen in, but you can't make any comments. And likewise, when I'm speaking to you, I don't allow men to drop in and make their little comments. No, we're not doing that. If I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. And I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your disagreements, not the men. And when I'm talking to the men, I want to hear their questions. I want to hear their disagreements and not yours. So, I think that's fair. So I'm looking forward to next week, but I'm also looking forward to speaking to you again, which will end the week where I'm speaking to you this week, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Next week is all Men's Week. And depending on how next week goes will depend on if I extend it for another week or another 2 weeks. I really want to get a good outcome with men participating in the stream as well. And like anything that's worth anything, this is a hard, tiring, exhausting. This is hard, man. Talking to you ladies and talking to us. It's tough. I will tell you that it's tough, and it's draining. But with participation, it gives me just more energy and more encouragement. I'm gonna do it regardless, but it's hard. It's hard, and but I think it's important. So that's where the sacrifice comes in at for me. It's important. I want to see something different, and I believe those of us that think this way, we can see the difference. We'll end up seeing the difference at some point, but it's going to take participation as a whole. I mean, a teacher can stand in front of a classroom and teach a classroom full of students, but her job is only made effective with classroom participation. Otherwise, she's just a figurehead standing at the front of the class, basically talking to herself, right? So for those of you that do get on the stream every week, I appreciate you. I also would appreciate you if you showed your appreciation in the streams by sharing it, clicking the like button, clicking the thumbs up. I promise you it's free. You won't be charged. Facebook doesn't charge. Last time I heard, they don't charge you for doing that. If you think it's valuable, then that means it's valuable to somebody else also. So with that being said, again, I appreciate you. My name is Charles Chambers. I am your host of Let's Talk About It. And I look forward to talking to you all again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And with that, we are gone. Have a good night, folks. Folks, look forward to seeing you Saturday night.